Hey y'all, Bloodwing here, back to bring some grumpiness to the internet. I really like my new song, my new intro music. I just want to sit and listen to it. Thank you for Jen. Hey, look, it's ThePianoGirl, for doing this for me and for taking the request to begin with. I appreciate it very much, Jen. And I like it a lot. I hope my listeners like it. I hope for this to be a new feature on my channel, a weekly feature, if it turns out. This will be a little different than my normal videos. It's not going to be a roasting video in that I'm not going to take a single article or video to pick apart, but it's going to be a 15 or 20 minute, more or less podcast kind of thing, where I just talk about whatever's on my mind on that particular week. I'd had every intention of putting this out a couple of days ago, but I'm very limited as to the times of day that I can record and have a quiet house. I have 4 grandchildren, ages 9, 7, 6, and 4 that live here, so, you know, they're always running around playing, being noisy, like kids will do. So I usually wait until after they're in bed to record. But events have happened in the last couple of days that's prevented me from being able to do it, so hopefully from here on out I'll get it out by Friday or Saturday of the week. Also, another update, I finally found my other microphone, so this should sound better than the other videos have. Unfortunately, I don't have a stand for this microphone, so I'll have to hold it in my hand. So if you hear a little rustling or me brushing the microphone, I apologize. Until I get a stand for it, I don't know what else to do. So, what will we talk about this week? I guess I'll get this out there out front and off the bat. It's what everybody else has been talking about all week long. Very polarizing subject on YouTube. And that's the new program of the YouTube heroes, or YouTube zeros as I like to call them. I'm not going to make a full video on them because so many other people have, and surely by now YouTube's got to know that this is a bad idea. I seen a video that Thunderfoot done on this just a day or so ago, and by the stats it has a 98% disapproval rating. And if you go just by the amount of dislikes, according to the Wikipedia site that tracks that, that makes this the most hated YouTube video in its 10-year history. So that's got to tell them something. At least you would think so. But if you've somehow been off the planet for the last week or living under a rock and you don't know what it's about, YouTube has instituted a new program where, like an RPG, you gain points by doing certain things. Now, some of the things seem kind of good at first glance. Like one of the first things it says is to add subtitles to videos. And at first you might think that that's not such a bad thing. But if you look at it closer, we're all aware of the demonetization brouhaha that popped up here recently. And that was run by a bot. And the bot focuses in on certain keywords. People kind of caught on to that, quit putting those keywords in their titles and in their descriptions and so forth. But if someone comes in, adds a subtitle that adds maybe one or two of the words that bot looks for, that flags it as being unacceptable for monetization, then the bot's going to catch it. So when you look at it that way, I'm not so sure about that. It also talks about flagging certain content, and even goes to so far as to give them ability at a certain level to mass flag certain videos and channels. And with that power, a single person could take down an entire channel. Not just flag all their videos, but take down the whole channel to where it's not on. And if they're a smaller YouTube channel, they may not have the recourse to get with YouTube and get their channels back up. And this is some people's livelihood. I hope for it to be mine at some point in time. But there's people already that have, this is what they do for a living. And and I know that there's nothing to stop people from flagging videos just because they don't like the content. Doesn't necessarily have to be against the terms of service, but just because they don't like the content or the content creator. Over on my blog at minds.com, and if you haven't checked that out, I certainly recommend that you do. My name is the same over there if you want to look me up if you get over there. But I do a written blog every few days, and in my most recent, I compared this new program to the Stanford prison experiment. And if you're not aware of what that is, there's a really good documentary out on it. I suggest that you search for that, give it a watch. It'll be worth your time. What that was an experiment that was conducted in 1971, I believe, at Stanford University. It was instituted initially to prove a hypothesis that one of the professors had, that bad and violent behavior within prison systems by both guards and prisoners alike were there because of some flaw in their character, some flaw in their emotional or mental setup. And that's not what it ended up proving. What they did was they took 24 students, and they picked these 24 out of the groups that signed up, and they tried to pick the ones that were the most stable emotionally and mentally, that had never been in any trouble, that weren't too political. In other words, just your average, well-behaving citizen. Tried to pick as good a people as possible, most even keeled. They split these 24 into two groups of 12, 12 being the prison guards, 12 being the prisoners. They set up a basement of one of the buildings as a makeshift prison, and neither of the two groups knew which group they were going to be in until the day the experiment started, when guards, quote-unquote, started showing up at the other students' homes, residences, whatnot, and arresting them and bringing them to the makeshift prison. I won't go through all the details because there's just too much. But the long and the short of it is that it didn't take long for those that were the guards to start a harassment program against those that were the prisoners, all the way to even emotional torture, keeping them up, stripping them of all their clothing. If they allowed them any clothing, it was just an open-backed hospital gown. And playing loud music, banging on the doors, making sure they didn't get any sleep, dressing them down in front of all, and yelling in their face in front of all the other prisoners. And even the prisoners were turning on one another. You know, if some of the prisoners thought another prisoner was a troublemaker and brought heat down on them, then they would turn on them and try to keep them from causing trouble. The experiment was supposed to go for 2 weeks, but instead ended in 6 days. And by the time it ended, it broke down entirely. It had got way out of control. 2 of the prisoners had quit the experiment by this time. due to emotional breakdowns. They literally broke down from all the abuse and emotional torture. The professor that headed up the experiment, even to this day, has been plagued with extreme feelings of guilt and whatnot over having taken part in this experiment and the things that happened. So what it proved was that even good people, or what are deemed to be good people, can and may very well do bad things if given enough power. There's an old saw that says absolute power corrupts absolutely, and there's a lot of truth to that. So you know good and well that this hero system is going to be abused no matter who does it, and with the best of intentions. One of the first people to fall are probably going to be those among that we count ourselves, those that are against feminism, those that are against social justice warriors and Black Lives Matter and so forth. The group, say, for instance, the social justice warrior group, kind of headed up by Christy Winters, you can guarantee they're probably already signed up for it. They think this is great. They want to shut us up. This is what a disaster. At the end of the day, the only thing I can say is this is going to end terribly. And if I really can't figure out for the life of me why YouTube is shooting themselves in the foot with this. And if maybe their end result is to run some of us off. And it's not going to just be the anti-feminism, anti-SJW group. There's going to be gaming channels hit. I've seen some gaming channels put out videos denouncing it. I've even seen tech channels putting out videos denounce it, because they fear, as I would, that if somebody just doesn't like your channel, and once they get to the level of being able to mass flag videos, they'll just shut it down. And YouTube knows they've made a mistake. They've already went in and, without saying anything to anyone, changed some of the wording in the video to try to make it look a little softer. But at the end of the day, this is going to fail miserably. And if, I'm not saying it is their intent, I can't figure out for the life of me what their intent is, but if it was their intent to run certain of our channels off, why don't they just man up, grow some balls, tell us they don't want us here, and we'll leave and not look back and find something else. I mean, there's other options, such as mines that I already mentioned, and they are looking forward to monetization, and we'll get that implemented. It is in beta right now, so it's a little rough around the edges, but it's coming along, and it's open source. Anybody can contribute to it. But anyway, that's my thoughts on the YouTube Zeros program. Something else has been on my mind as of late. At the university in Vermont, they had rose a Black Lives Matter flag and put it right next to the state flag and the American flag. And the initial article, and you can Google it. In these podcasts, I probably won't give a lot of sources. You can Google that. I had the article that I had initially found it on. It didn't take, but they didn't even mention any of the bad side. They just made it all sound sunny and like it was needed, and all the students were down with it, and no mention of discontent whatsoever. What they didn't mention is within 3 hours of raising that flag, obviously, people started protesting it. In that original article, it didn't take me very far to scroll down and in the comments to the article find things such as this little gem. Let's face it, there are far too many white people in the world. Yeah, that's going to end all their problems. Let's kill all the white people. I've since learned that the flag has been stolen, and I'm not a bit surprised. I don't condone it. somebody else's property. But I'm not the least bit surprised. And of course, the university comes out and says that they can, they would take flags from any other group as long as they were okayed. And and I know that if somebody wanted to put up something from the opposite side of the spectrum, something not quite so PC, it's not going to get approved. So they're talking out their butts on that. Don't know if you all had been aware of that article, but search for the University of Vermont. Just put in Black Lives Matter flag. You'll see all kinds of hits on it, and could probably choose from whatever news site that you prefer. It's even on the national media now. Another thing that's been on everybody's mind is all these riots in Charlotte. And, I'm all for free speech. In fact, I want free speech for people that I oppose. I don't want those other channels taken down. For one, if they take them down, what have I got to talk about? For two, I recognize your right to speak your mind, so long as you recognize my right to not agree with it and then speak my mind. But what has went on there is not peaceful protests. They've beaten reporters. I've seen a video of one white man getting stripped naked in a parking garage and dragged around by a group of black people. Seen him walk up and punch a white man to the ground who was just literally just throwing away some trash in a trash can. Seen him try to drag one reporter into a bonfire and burned them. This is not protest. Speak your mind, state your opinion, fine. Breaking things, violence, breaking open cash registers, stealing, breaking out windows in the street, that's not protest. That's just out and out rioting, violence. You're acting like animals. And you want to know why people won't take you seriously. Calm the heck down. For Pete's sake, I don't know why this continues to go on, and the main media doesn't want to focus on it. Especially something like CNN. They're so disingenuous. It's incredible on this whole Black Lives Matter. Anything negative, they do not air. Or at least if they do, it's on only a rare occasion. And while I'm talking about that, I've those of you Americans are well aware of the Colin Kaepernick thing, and I've noticed that a few others, from watching football today, I'm a huge football fan, that a few others have joined in, but I'm heartened because it's really not many. It's just 2 or 3 or 4, maybe 5 from this team and 2 or 3 from this team. But the majority of the people are still standing and giving respect to the country and the armed forces that gives them these freedoms. And that heartens me. I think that's why on the opposite end of that, on the other side of that coin, it makes me so upset to see them do it. I get it that they're a sports figure. They want to use their platform for what's important to them. But you can do that off the field, instead of making such a spectacle out of yourself. And don't tell me you're not. The cameras focus on the sidelines. That you sitting down or kneeling is going to stand out like a sore thumb because you're expected to stand and everybody else is standing. So you are making a spectacle out of yourself. And all this from millionaires. But they want to talk about injustices. Anyway, I think I'm going to bring this to a close. Looks like I'm getting pretty close to 20 minutes, so I'm already close to the far end of what I wanted to be on this. If you like this, give me a thumbs up. Tell me about it. Drop a comment. Drop some comments in my other videos, even if it's negative comment. Let me know what I'm doing wrong. Let me know what I'm doing right. I really want to make these videos the best that they can be. But until next time, remember to stay tuned to listen to another one to some more of Jen's song. I think today I'll just replay the song that she just made for me, the Nothing Else Matters. Remember to look for her link to her site. Go subscribe to her down in the description. And till then, get out of my yard.